Roll call, please.
Supervisor Vestola,
Present.
Councilman O'Connor,
Here.
Councilman Stat,
Here.
Councilman Gronwell,
Here.
Councilwoman Crowley,
Present. That Hood will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Tim. Approval of the October 9th minutes. Corrections, observations.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. What's in favor? Aye. That carries. Thank you. Motion to open the public hearing. I'll second. Those in favor? Aye. Okay. We have 3 minutes if you want to comment on the public hearing for our 24th budget.
I'd like to make a comment.
Okay.
You know, I'm relatively new resident and I've always been impressed by how the supervisor and the board have handled the budgets, and there has never been. And I think this year I'm very disappointed in the process and the increase that I see in the salary. I see the high. Very good quality. Great, but when I look at the changes in salary, just the elected officials, the supervisor 56%, the highway 8%, clerk 29%, council 12%, justice 4%. And then I briefly looked over the other things like deputy highway supervisor, but it's all over the board, anywhere from 55%, 11%, 12%, 4%, 21%, 44%, 4.4%, 46% for the story. There just doesn't seem to be a logic to how it's worked out. I think the supervisor, 56% I find an original. I listened to discussion previously, and I don't find it good. Something that's changing in the job, that's more work involved, that wasn't there before. I think the council is obligated to look out for the taxpayer. I don't think you guys are doing the job. That's my experience.
Thank you. Else.
I have a few, but it is, do we have a tentative budget now when it's approved by the board?
We have a preliminary budget.
Has it been approved by the board?
Yes,
When was that,
the last meeting.
by motion or resolution?
We don't do a resolution for preliminary budgets.
No, it is.
Anyways, this approach of the floor is not a question and answer. I will.
Well, I guess I got about 10 questions, so I guess I'll just rattle out the questions.
That might be easier for me.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So I didn't see anything approved. I thought that we were supposed to have a tentative budget that was approved by the board. At least that's the way I read the law, that the board approves a budget by October 10th. And then we post that so that people can see it. I've been seeing several iterations of a tentative budget that I don't think has been approved by the board because the board hasn't met, that are being posted to the town's website. The last one, I think, which posted is dated November 2nd. I think the one you're looking at tonight is November the 8th. And so if I'm not mistaken, the public hasn't had any opportunity.
It's the same thing, it's just a matter of when they're printed, Steve. Whatever date they're printed off, that's the timestamp.
Okay,
It
so
goes
there's been no changes to them. I'm not looking at the timestamp, I'm looking at the date. at
The
top
date
of
stamp,
the
let's say-
Appropriations
yeah,
page.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's been no changes. The one that's dated, November the 2nd on the town's website has been there since October 10th.
A little bit after that, but yes. After the meeting was on the 11th,
2011.
so we had changes due to that meeting.
Okay, well, I put up, the October 5th, I guess that was the date that the law says you had their tentative budget.
So there's 30 seconds left for privilege of the floor.
30
30
seconds.
seconds left.
Yes.
What happened to 5 minute, what's your?
Stream. We can go for another minute, Steve, if you like.
I'd like to make a point of order. So are we following the town code?
I believe we are, yes.
Okay, chapter 14-4,
Okay.
rules of conduct with the public. You have a code book with you, if you want me to read it?
Go ahead, Bruce, please.
Okay, the following applies to both town board public hearings and town board meeting. Any person wishing to speak or be recognized as a supervisor should give his or her name, address, and name of the street. The supervisor shall be the order of the meeting. All questions direct. Following applies to town board meeting, town board agenda, provide a second of time. Public participation allowed early in the agenda and the persons may speak on any subject. Maximum of 5 minutes. Whether you speak it. Right, supervisor, really after. 5 minutes. The following applies only to town board public. Any person who shall speak at a public hearing shall sign the form available to the town. Persons will be, which I did not see a form, persons will be allowed to speak.
We've got no notice of these.
Pardon?
Well, you've got no notice that anyone's gonna speak according to the town code, it sounds like. But go ahead.
Well, there wasn't a form that signed.
Well, I would think if you're looking at the code book and you saw that, you would ask that ahead of time. That's typically what happens when it's this formal. That's how it's done at the county, for instance. So,
Okay, I just found it now.
right,
That's a gift form that's signed.
Okay.
Will be allowed to speak in the order they signed the form. Supervisor may wish to recognize certain involved parties at the start of the hearing. Speakers shall be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. Statement may do so in writing, written statements read at the hearing. The speaker may be recognized to speak the second time by the supervisor, only after everyone wishes to speak at the first time. It's spoken. The second time speakers should be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. Your agenda calls for 3 minutes. It's against town code. I didn't know if you were aware of 14.
I wasn't, I was told 3, so my mistake. So we'll do 5, so we've done 5, we agree that it's 5. And in the future, so then we all know, we'll make certain there's forms and we'll get really formal. I don't think we need to do the forms, but. We could look at the code. When was the last time that was changed?
Oh, you're
I'm
the
s-
supervisor, I'm assuming you read the code book and know the provisions of the code.
I-
I don't know. I
I
just read the codes.
I just asked you if you saw the date on there. There's a date on every page, isn't there? Anyways, thank you very much, Birch.
No, there isn't a date in every page.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Well, Mr. Unger said 2 more minutes now.
Okay, all right,
2 minutes and yeah.
So I can continue.
absolutely.
So, the process on the budget was one of my concerns. Because I didn't see any motions or resolutions adopting this budget by October the 5th. And if I look at our agenda tonight, it looks like we're gonna go from tentative to the preliminary to a public hearing to a final to an adopted final all in one meeting. Which really doesn't give the public any opportunity to really explore this and comment on it. And it doesn't follow the town code guidelines and requirements for meeting the states. But I have a concern about that, and the ones that I'm looking at seem to be missing components from them. For one, there's supposed to be a tax roll exemption report as part of this budget, and I don't see one in any of the ones that have been put out there. I don't see encumbrances in there unless somehow they're reflected in appropriations, but they're not called out properly. So it seems like this budget is getting pushed through really quickly, and the town is not being informed well, so that they can have some input on this. As it is on the town's website, the proposed budget is quickly one of 15 that you have to siphon through, and it's down underneath water district. It's difficult to find. I couldn't even find it the first time. So I don't think that the board is doing a good job of bringing this to the public and bringing it to a legal completion. So I'm not sure if I guess we're going to continue with it anyways, and you're going to go to final approval tonight, and I'm kind of wondering why you're even bothering with the public hearing. If I read the law, it was supposed to be by the Thursday immediately following the general election, and it's not. Now we're late on that. You're gonna do it all in one meeting, go to this final approval. So whatever we say at the public meeting, you're gonna disregard and approve anyway. It seems like we've missed all the timelines on it. And I guess with those things in mind, you know, we've got a budget officer and a supervisor who is supposed to bring this in a timely manner and make people informed and come up with a reasonable budget. And I'm seeing a 56% pay increase for not doing that.
Thank you.
Well, I guess I'm done.
Yes,
Thanks.
thank you. Anyone else? There really were no revisions that I was made aware of. Again, that Jersey Hill study is in there. We did the Q3 sales tax. Once we saw that, we were comfortable with that. As I was making everyone aware of. Motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, carries, thank you. Recorded a candidate state of the towns at Finger Lakes TV, and I hope you get a chance to take a peek at that. It's short and sweet, but it's a good one. And trying to talk about some of the things that we're involved with that want to move forward. Some of the things I'm involved with, some of the things our board's involved with. Getting grants, clean energy communities, clean smart communities, our bicentennial coming up, and a lot of other neat things that we're going to be doing. We are replacing a bridge candidates on County Road 36, and I've been asked to be on that committee. And I'll be looking forward to reviewing that. The good thing is it's 95% federal money and 5% state, no cost to the town for this new bridge. And I will say this, and I haven't looked at it thoroughly, but I will be, the one that makes the most sense is the one that offers one way, both ways, so we aren't putting people on town roads. That's important. I don't want to see us putting folks on Crossroad and Old Westlake Road. That's just not going to be fun. And we can keep it on the county.
Where is the bridge?
It is just south, well, actually just north of the border. Naples. Okay. So a bridge is defined as 20 feet or more. It's essentially 4 culverts pushed together, and they had changed the inlet angle, and now it's going to kind of maybe go back to its original flow again, trying to let nature help us out. So stay tuned. I'll have more on that one when I thoroughly review it. I haven't had time to thoroughly review the package, which I have to do next week. Communications in what? Yes.
You had announced that first privilege of the board.
Oh, privilege of the floor.
That's right. That was my privilege of floor. Privilege of floor, yes, sir.
Two things, one is, we started, advertising for court clerks. Wanted to let you know, we, asked everybody to put it in your town's paper. It's going into the penny saver, she's posting it out here, it's going to, the unified court system has an email, it blankets all the courts in the state. And, so I just wanted to be aware, we started, doing that, and we're requesting resumes. Our hope is to have some resumes at least by the 24th and get into review process to look at them, to talk to people, and hopefully come back with a recommendation for you at the December meeting. Yeah, and we're gonna be, it's a tight timeline to try and get in there and get somebody trained.
Trying to get some overlap with your skill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so, we're really hoping that we can get somebody in, a recommendation at that December meeting and get them right into work. One little hitch I got is I gotta train this person in that week of the town board meeting. It's the only available training for the judges taking the bench in the entire state is in Albany all week. I'm gonna be gone all week. So I'll probably try to get here by Zoom, but even that week, I'm not gonna be here to train the court clerk, and I have about a week to do it. But at least I'll be the judge, I'll still be here and I can help them along.
We do have something we've been working on for onboarding and a new person, so I can give you that, which will help. Just
Yeah,
copier, all these little things that just make life easier for him or her.
that would be great. I sent you an email, I asked the bookkeeper, anything you got in that process, we were able to get like the application. If the physical application, we just asked for my lien, the civil service one, that we could have them fill out. You understand, you got like the employee handbook and everything ready to go.
Everything's ready.
Yeah, so
That'll be
anything
easy.
like that
Yep.
would help.
Yep.
If you don't have a court clerk by whenever, is there a way to ask Richmond for some assistance?
I wouldn't know the logistics on that one, of what's acceptable. I think that would largely be up to this board.
I think a shared services would be in order, certainly.
Yeah, wouldn't that-
You'd have somebody with skill who understands the
Well,
unified court
I
system.
know several people around town have mentioned their interest. I don't have any resumes yet.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe hoping we'll get some response from all the other court clerks. A lot of time, the court clerks, they only have, less than part-time jobs in these towns. They like to grab another town. For their farm.
Right. Yep.
Thank you.
So that's our big goal there. But I know a few folks in town have mentioned it. So hopefully we have at least something for you to get in December. I just want to let you know about that. The other item that I have, I just brought this to your attention before, but not the board. We still have a situation. The high schoolers cleaned the court building and they blew out every floodlight across the front.
The LED lights came in the other day.
Did they? Okay,
Yes.
because we've all been loading in the pitch black.
Yep. The LED lights came in the other day.
Great.
So we're converting to LED.
Thank you.
Yep.
Those are my two concerns.
There's 6 of them. In fact, you could take them tonight.
I gotta put them in.
I could contact our buildings and grounds guy who happens to be.
No, I'll do it.
Part of my,
If you want me to do it, I'm happy to do it. Nobody had asked. I didn't know how it's being handled or nothing. I don't even know if it's actually the fixtures or the bulbs.
Well, great.
I don't know what happens when they spray water into our fixtures. So, but I will put them in and see if they work.
okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other privilege of the floor? So we're on to communications. We put a little letter about the Jersey Hill engineering study. Just so you have that, and any other questions. I've given you decent documentation on just about everything. Reports, town clerk.
Paying to the supervisor for the general fund, $1,225.44. Paying to the supervisor for water billing, $28,691.36. New York State DEC decals, $594.76. And animal population control fund, $19, for a total disbursement of $30,530.56. Everything went fairly smoothly as far as letting the election inspectors in and out of the building on election day. That's all I have.
Thank you. Approval of the town clerk's report.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That carries. Thank you. Historian, you got the historian's report? And you got the CEO report. Joe did text me, Dwight picked up a new car and couldn't make, well, it took a little bit longer than he thought. But he did text me about it. Planning board, said me.
Planning board met on October 23rd. Had a few items from the county planning board that were interesting. A couple new solar farms being applied for. County Road 10. Piece of Bloomfield, they're looking at 15-acre site, 13-acre site. So they're multiplying. Our agenda was, we had some reports, a good report from our chairperson of the comprehensive plan committee, Caitlin Tumsky. She was looking for some volunteers from the planning board, where 2 people step up and volunteer. And potentially a third one, fourth, so we had 2 committed. We only had 3 people.
That's the same, yeah.
Limited to 3 members, otherwise, the planning board meeting every time we met.
Can you rotate that? I had a question. Can you rotate a planning board member in and out? Like as long as there's not 4 in the same meeting or?
Sure.
If that helps with, someone's gonna miss this.
Letting Caitlin can go ahead, I'm not gonna micromanage that. So,
Okay, all right, something, good, very good.
so that's, and they're starting to talk about path forward. It's beginning to get some wheels on the company.
That's great, and Ontario County Planning.
Other than that, we have a site plan application for James LeBeau, 6012 West Grove Point. We're going to demolish an existing small home and build a new one on the same site. Slightly larger, that fits all of the regulations of the town code. Without any problems, they had some adequate maps, and so we went through the whole process of review, seeker review, and final approval, and that's approved. As soon as they get a final site plan map submitted to us, they'll be able to apply for building codes. Our building, that'll be coming down the line. Demo permit. So we approved that. And we had a candidate applying for the position of alternate planning board member. Her name is Carolyn Nestro, longtime Canada Express resident. She'll say 30 years. She's looking forward to retirement shortly. So she's interested in getting involved in the town. And I believe that's on the agenda.
It is.
Tonight to approve the alternate position. Correct. And that's. Do it tonight. She'll have a couple meetings this month. See what it's like.
We hope so. It's not automatic.
No, it's not. And she's holding out the fact that she's still working.
Okay,
And so she's not.
that's good that she has a look.
You told her what? Doesn't have a choice. Birch's friend. So.
Drafted, okay, gotcha.
So, that's our report.
Okay, thank you very much. CBA met and filled out vouchers the other day, you got the vouchers. And I did forward what she sent. Highway Superintendent Jeremy.
All right, so we've and we're doing a little last minute road maintenance with some hot asphalt patching and ledging. Had Town of Springwater help us for 2 days on Old Bald Hill South. We did 2 miles worth of road, both lanes, wedged up, drew the road up with the intent on oil and stoning that section next year and continuing on with the other 1.5 miles from where we left off up to 15 acres. We also did some patching with the tractor down on Candice Lake Road and Lawrence Hill Road, the dead end portion of it. we finally received the new motor grader. So we took that up to the dirt road on Candice Hill. And tuned it up a little bit, got rid of the potholes for the time being. The road is so hard right now, it was like trying to grate concrete, you could only really get the top inch and a half off, but underneath it, it's so hard. It needs a little moisture in it. If time allows and the weather, we will attempt to go back up there and do it again if we get a little moisture in the road. We spent several days catching up on maintenance on trucks and equipment. Fluid filter changes. On trucks, on some of the equipment, we had to take a truck up to Lewis Tire and have all new rubber put on it. And then also a alignment on the front end, which is why we need front tires. Roadside mowing is ended for the season. And before Tim left, we put the brush head on and he made a trip around town, taking care of autumn olive and woody brush that's been hanging out over the ditch that makes it hard for him to mow. Snow removal, that started here a week ago. So all the trucks have got the snowplow frames reinstalled on them. We've got all the plows back in the shop. A couple of the trucks are set up currently with Sanders. And we did make our first salt run on Monday. I believe it was, rain and wet snow all over the weekend, freezing temperatures that morning. Turned roads into black ice. We've also taken the F-550 that's being replaced out to MDI upfitters in Auburn. The new cabin chassis is there. We're waiting for them to do the switch on that. So for the time being, we are without the little plow truck. We also took delivery 5,000 gallons of the Magic -0 salt additive that we used and mixed that up with the remaining salt we have. And we've been mixing salt and sand as well. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's the learning curve for the guys that are normally running, because it's all joysticks now instead of all the levers in front of it. But the view of the windshield is 100% better than the old ones were.
Your sight lines.
So between Paul and we've been having Ryan run it as well, who's never operated one before in his life, and he's been catching on and getting the hang of it right away, because it's like playing video games. You know, that younger generation, that's what they do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Terry?
Well, we've been preparing for winter because it is coming. No question. Boats are in storage, winter storage, and the docks and boat hoist are on shore. Last week, we got the final segment of our water quality data for the summer. And it confirmed the visual observations that this was probably the worst summer we've had in at least 5 years. We have forwarded all of our data to the DEC in Albany and offered to partner with them to try to understand why their elm treatment didn't get the expected results, and offered to collect special water quality data that we don't normally collect next summer to try to figure out what happened. Just scanning down here. Betsy Landry is confident that the Special Finger Lakes grant awards, which we submitted one for a boat wash station. Actually, the county submitted it. behalf of the town of Canada. Should be announced very soon in the next few weeks. Held quarterly watershed task force meeting in late October. We have a new invasive plant cake, so it's called European frogbit. It's in the inlet. It's very aggressive. So we will be getting a permit and organizing a volunteer pull of the European frogbit early summer next year. So you're on my short list, Kate.
Great.
We need people with kayaks and canoes. Your daughter have a kayak? Okay.
My daughter sold her house.
Yeah.
We got a kayak. We got a kayak.
Ontario County Soil and Water is applying for a second grant to mitigate the hemlock woolly indulgent. That's an insect that's killing our hemlock trees. And if you're on the lake and you look up Briggs Gully or Bray Gully or Falter, you will see a lot of hemlock trees. And this bug will kill them over a 5 to 10 year period. And Soil and Water is applying for another $200,000 grant to use a pesticide to kill that critter. So I wrote a letter of support for that. We had Soil and Water do a Weir and Sanibon Park Lagoon survey. We try to do that every 3 or 4 years. And basically the Weir is stable. But just so everybody knows this, it's not a uniform 803.5 feet above sea level. It varies from 803.1 to 803.6. So normal lake level is really 803.1, not 803.5, because a lot lake will eventually go down to 803.1. But the Weir is stable. The lagoon is 7 feet deep in September of 2023. To put that in perspective, we did a survey in 2006 and it was 11 feet. So there's been 4 feet of sediment since 2006, which sounds like 17 years, which is a lot of years. It's probably not going to be in the next year or two, but eventually the lagoon and the channel to the lake will have to be dredged. And finally, our friends in Soil and Water have been promoting Jeremy's Fleximat ditch stabilization project. I think you're creating a YouTube video and you created a nice article that I posted on the task force website. I sent it to Jeremy. So getting a lot of good press. How did your meeting with your peers in the county go, Jeremy?
I think it was pretty well received.
You get some buy-in?
Yeah, so we're trying to expand the program out, so it benefits more in the county and then also us, because we're gonna lose the opportunity to keep getting grant money for the same projects over and over again.
So we need other communities to embrace it and then we can get more money. Basically.
Yeah, they do have a YouTube video put together. I'll send you the link. It's not
Send me the link.
it's not 100% finalized yet. They will need to add a few more things to it, but
Well, the article they wrote looked pretty, the pictures were pretty impressive. So,
yeah, we're planning on doing a on-site demonstration next summer when we start our next phase of the grant project, so we can get people that be interested out to actually see how easy it is.
anyway, it's good stuff. Jeremy and Soil and Water are in the lead position countywide.
Yes, I actually made a presentation for the Genesee Finger Lakes Regional Planning annual fall meeting, and the Fleximat was part of it because it does tie into clean energy and clean smart communities, and that got a lot of people's attention, a lot of questions. So just more PR. There's about 80 people in the audience. So that's nice. It's nice that we utilize those slides. Thank you for your
Yeah,
report.
that's my report.
Lots of those. Assessor's report is on file and everyone's got a copy. Ellie's doing a great job for us. And she's also bringing Diane on so she can take on more of the role as as clerk for the assessor. She's not available or when they're busy. They're busy. Water district operations, Kate.
So you have in your packet the reconciliation for third quarter. There's nothing out of the ordinary. And October was very much on track. It's actually more similar to 2021 than 2022. When I did an analysis, because it's actually, the water pumped is up 230,000 gallons. It's because of the pumps that were done on the second and the 31st. And once I normalized those, we're right on target. And we were also like 9,000 gallons off water pump to gallons built. So Dave Rowley and his team are doing a good job.
Just hear that.
Yes.
Thank you. For that detail. The financial report's been submitted. The discussion, and the next item was the light audit I had ordered is complete, and you got the recommendations and observations from Mingo Metzger and Bar. My spare time, I've been working on two FEMA projects and had some help. One is the hazard mitigation plan. They're still looking for more information. And any more input I can get would be great. They're relentless. They hired some consultants for big money. And they'll call you 2 or 3 times a week and send an email out almost every day. The floodplain meetings, the new maps, we had 2 meetings, one in Richmond, which was designed for Canadites and Richmond residents because of the issues with Honeywell Lake. And then there was a second one on the following day on Wednesday in Canada. I attended those meetings and just observed people were pretty okay with it. But I thought people were gonna be screaming and yelling and hostile. I didn't see any of that.
Oh,
I have to interrupt for a minute, please.
There were some unhappy people.
We have Eileen.
Yes,
I have to interrupt for a minute. Did I miss a motion and a second on the financial report?
Yes.
yes, because it didn't happen. I'll make a motion for the financial report.
No, you can't.
I'll make a motion for the
I
financial
was testing
report.
you.
Yeah. and
A second.
I will second.
Thank
Those in
you.
favor?
You're abstaining, Christopher.
I understand that. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
So Chris, can I address Ed for just a moment? On this FEMA work we got?
Okay, so that carried, by the way, yes.
Thank you.
So do you, when somebody comes in front of your planning board for a site plan review, do you check to see if the site's in the floodplain, the existing floodplain? Is that on your checklist?
Yes, we use the EAF mapper.
Yeah, okay,
And
but
if
you
there's-
check, but
If
it's on
there's
the,
information. in
you do
there-
that today.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so. With the new floodplain map, it's something like over 200 more properties are going in the new floodplain
In our town.
in Richmond and Kennedy.
And Honeywell Lake.
Anyway. Over 200 more additional. The new high water mark is, I wrote it down on the something like 808.7 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
The weir is 803.1. So that's gonna be crucial. And I wish Joe was here. Because I've checked this out. Someone wants to build a floodplain, even if it's a deck, woodhouse. Whatever, they're gonna have to get a floodplain building permit from Joe. From the code enforcement officer.
We're gonna require a different secret.
I don't know. I'd leave it to you and your board, you and your board. You need to research that, but anybody that wants to build, I don't care if, like I said, even if it's a deck or a boathouse. Doesn't have to be a house. It's in a new floodplain map.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to get a floodplain building permit. And that is something that Joe will have to rule.
There's a specific question in the current seeker of is the property within.
I've extended beyond my knowledge. I just really wanted to flag it as something that you and your board probably needs to research a little bit.
Thank you.
That was all. So I'm no expert, but that's what you're telling me.
It's not final. There's still a window to challenge that, and the town of Richmond has engaged an engineer. And he got together some data points, whether this is gonna happen, whether it's gonna, FEMA's just gonna say, here it is, this is what you got. Can't tell, but it is being tried, and the town will probably be billed for that engineering study as we share the lake, just again, so you're aware. That's what we were meeting about on Saturday, we just stopped it, among other things. Okay, so. Yep. So that bill will be coming once,
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure
No,
Ted is aware.
in a house on stilts is, you might be seeing that coming in. It makes sense. Water just goes underneath and everybody's happy. Doesn't divert onto your neighbor's property. We want that neighbor, right?
Right,
The one in stilts.
right.
You don't want the neighbor. Okay, the town zoning maps are still out there, and again, anyone has input, including those on the planning board, they've been circulated pretty well. And once county comes back with our revisions, I'll send them back out again. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the unified solar permit. For a second. And it's been okayed by the planning board's okay with it, and Joe's okay with it.
Then I make a motion to, approve the resolution.
I'll second. Those in favor? Aye, that carries. This goes 4 points towards our $5,000 grant. And they're gonna pull that away. The state's gonna pull that away, so if I get that in the next 2 weeks, we'll be okay. It's one of those
What are
low
we
hanging.
doing, pulling it away as a-
Well, because it's it's an easy thing to do. Among other things. Authorization to approve Richmond and Hemlock Fire Districts. Terry had a,
Well, I think we need to get some discussion.
sure,
So I'll speak for myself. The Hemlock one is fine. They came here twice. They spoke to it. So I'm comfortable approving that. I'm just speaking for myself. The Richmond. We have asked, Mark has asked commissioners. We traditionally ask people, for example, the Honeywell Public Library, for example.
yes.
Created a package that showed, here is their 24 budget. Here was their 23 budget. Here was their 22 and what was going up and why. And I'll speak for myself. I was expecting to see the same thing for the Richmond. We don't have that. So I'm a little bit uncomfortable approving their increased budget without just thinking. I defer to Mark and John. Whatever, but that's just my thoughts.
My thoughts on it are that we give them what we gave them last year until they provide us with a line item budget, and if we agree to it, we can always hold on it at the next meeting to approve this.
So this wasn't good enough. It was passed around.
That doesn't justify the increase.
Okay.
That's a budget.
It's, yeah, this year's
You wanted to see the columns of 23 and 22.
columns 23 and 22 and why a line item was going up. If the line item was going up, just a simple why.
Okay. I guess.
Nothing more than inflation.
So
Yeah, and that's fine.
I like John's thoughts about approving it at last year's level. I would support that. But I don't support a, whatever it is, 5-6% increase without justification. Personally.
Did I hear a volunteer to write that letter? Writing that letter.
Oh, I could do that.
Okay.
Sure, absolutely. And I do agree that we should, okay, the, Hemlock at last year's Richmond, Richmond.
I'm like at the full, what they asked for. 'cause they
Yes,
documented
and Richmond at last year's.
Richmond last year.
Until they produce, just a simple matrix on where the increases are coming from. And I'm more than willing to, draft a quick note for them.
Okay, and then we're holding the contract pending that detail.
And to John's point,
And we could probably do that through email as far as the review to get
Sure,
back to them.
sure.
yeah, but to John's point, they could do that in an hour or less
Absolutely.
and get it to us. And we could approve their increase request if we saw the justification in December meeting.
You'd have to find another way to pull it from the budget though, because the budget would not be approved in December. It can't wait till then.
Yeah, we've got to approve the budget now, so I'm gonna suggest that we approve it for that amount. The contract's different than what's approved in the budget, so the money's in there in the budget. If we give them last year's
Okay, I'm
money,
okay
then we're
with
okay with
approving
it.
the budget with the increased amount.
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
I'm okay with that. The contract is what we're talking.
that's all we're talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Budget's fine.
We gotta keep it simple.
Yeah,
yes.
that way, so they come by in a week with justification, December, we can approve.
Yep.
Full amount of it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the amended motion is to approve the contract for Hemlock Fire Department
Correct.
agreement, and I will rewrite the resolution to just reflect that, so it's just fire protection, and I'll do a separate resolution for our next meeting for fire protection and ambulance
For Richmond.
for Richmond. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. As I'm sure it'll work out, but we've got a certain price.
I'm sure they'll get it to us. It's just they haven't.
I think once the contract doesn't come, because she keeps asking me for it, I say, I can't do anything until the board. And it's like,
Okay, right,
So we're gonna okay the contract, but short pay it is basically what we're gonna
exactly.
Yes,
do. Yes.
Yes,
and you're comfortable with that verbiage as well.
yes.
All right, so we're all in agreement then? I think it's a unanimous consensus.
Thought I just heard you say something different. Gonna approve
We're gonna approve,
budget, but you're not gonna.
we're gonna approve the contract.
We're gonna approve the contract, and we're gonna short pay the, bill for 2024.
We could amend chances are they're gonna get it done. And then, then it's already in the budget instead of budget transfers and moving monies around.
Exactly.
Okay,
It just keeps it a little simple for a bookkeeper.
So the budget remains the same. The resolution is going to show approval of Hemlock at what they requested and Richmond at what they received last year.
Yes,
At this time.
yes.
At this, right,
Yes,
pending any further information.
yes.
So,
Okay.
that motion.
I'll second. Is there a second? John seconds. Those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
And who made the motion?
Terry,
Thank you.
John second. Thank you. Need a motion adoption of the 24 town budget.
So do you want to just real quick go through the three adjustments that were made from the preliminary?
Oh, sure.
That were approved last month?
Oh, sure. The Hemlock number. Well, that changed the taxable by a penny for the fire protection rate. So it went up a penny. And then the engineering study for Jersey Hill. Which is on page 2, engineering contractual 1440.4. $65,000.
And that also goes in townwide, even though it's a highway study. Is that?
That's what I,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
that's what I've got it is now.
okay,
Because this opens up, once this is done again, this enables us to have Ontario County Soil and Water and some other agencies potentially get grants once those engineering studies are completed.
and grants are not available for that engineering study.
There are not, but we did explore that through several meetings, yes.
Okay,
Now, in the letter, you did see that, Chris Day will help us with some of that, so the county can give us up to 40 hours engineering. He did a little bit of engineering this year, and he can do more next year. He'll save us some money just by his input. He might also assign somebody, yeah, and he's the lead engineer for the county.
He said that he would, be willing to help us write that RFP
Yes,
for that.
and that'll be a big time saver. And I trust him implicitly. He's fantastic. Great guy to work. Thanks, Jeremy, for that input as well. Okay, and then with, the third item was the revenue stream. Once we got third quarter's sales tax, you'll see A 1120 with on page 1 of revenues. That's now at 460, which is still conservative. Well, you see, if we look at what we've taken in to this to date, we're at 464, we're estimating. But you never know what can happen with the economy.
and that includes the 464 includes third quarter.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, it was lower prior to that, but we weren't,
Exactly.
I was guessing what the third quarter would be, and I had an idea, and we generally went back and forth. But that's why we wait for that next month to come in, and then we saw what happened. So that's the budget.
Then the other thing I would
Those
note is,
corrections are included in their
Yes,
final analysis.
yes, yep.
and then for the water district, we added 2,
Oh, yeah, we're up to 400 now. So yes, that changed.
right?
And then that one gentleman, I don't think he came back yet. But we're at 400. Eventually,
Oh, the gentleman from Twin Bay,
yes,
I thought we're good with him.
okay,
I thought we were gonna take that 0.5 off.
He did come in and talk to Joe. And Joe passed the information on to Holly. So she updated the list. As far as I know, it is
That's the
400.
latest. Oh, and Holly just gave that last.
Good,
Yep.
okay,
Yep, last.
good.
Yep.
All right, then that's my notes on the water.
Once we
district.
made that final adjustment, then we're way closer.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for that observation again.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 town budget. I don't know. Wait, okay, maybe I don't. Well. Okay,
I will make the motion.
all right, is there a second?
I will second.
And the reason I say that.
Okay, oh, gotcha.
Right,
Okay, all right,
exactly.
all
I
right,
think it's inappropriate.
all right, sounds good. Thank you for that motion, sir. Thank you for the second. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, carries. Resolution to appoint Caroline Nestro as alternate to the candidates town planning board. I'll move it.
I'll second.
Eight second, Terry moved. Those in favor? Aye. That carries. Approval of the bills. Second. Those in favor? Aye. Carries.
Who made the motion?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John.
And tentative date for the town party, barring anyone that can't make it, those key people, is the 20th. At 12:12.
12 and the 20th.
We got 12 more minutes of work out of everybody.
Good idea.
It's almost as to what.
Of work.
Everybody.
Is that
Well,
open on your calendar, John? This is your last December as a town board member.
Yeah, and that's one reason it's tentative. It's important. Because we're gonna have a special date.
Somebody else has to taste it first.
Okay. That person will be here at 11:30.
Before we conclude on privilege of the floor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to go back and ask Kate, just for a general info before part. Is the water district meeting its financial obligations? I mean, their bond payments, is the income exceeding no payment?
By a smidge, yeah, the income's actually exceeding expenses, all expenses. By about $5,000 this year. And as you know, it's a pretty small, it's $245,000. What we are gonna be doing, and this was gonna be part of my privilege of the floor, Eileen and I have met now twice with TI Sales. And we're going to be moving, TI Sales is asking us to move to a cloud-based system. And to do that, there's $6,000, $4,000 of it is training. And then there's a $2,000 annual per meter charge that we also have cooked into this year's budget. $4,000 for training is one time.
1,000 per meter?
No, it's $7.25 per meter.
Okay. You said yeah, she said 2,000 per meter. I'm like, wow, that's gonna be expensive
Sorry, for the meters.
for the meters.
Eileen and I are working on reconciling, their numbers. Their numbers are higher than ours. And I inherited that meter sheet from Mark Palmendier. And so we're gonna true that up, and then we will get, an updated invoice for the supervisor. And the other thing that we have talked about is there are hours being spent by the town clerk and this code enforcement officer that also need to be part of that water district budget. And I look at, do we have the expenses in the right category? The other thing I would say is our assessment, our property assessment went up. I think it was $29 per property last year. Because the required reserve wasn't in there. And so we added that $30,000 last year. So that's in there. It's baked in.
I've been kind of not following it closely, but eyeballing the O and M of the city. And for a new district, it seems high to me. For a new water district, it seems like there's O and M going into that. And I hate to see our O and M exceed our income.
It's funny you should say that because I was in the Victor Water District and our cost down here to be part of this water district is almost double. I have, looked at it as to why. A lot of it is because of the size of our district. We have, 400 people potential in this district where Victor is, probably 10 times that. Yeah. So that's part of our problem, if you will. And so we've got to manage it pretty tight down here. They wanted us to do monthly meter reads. Eileen and I have said no, thank you. One, because we don't do our own meter reads, and I do not want Rochester Waterworks to start charging us for that. And so every step of the way, we're inspecting new costs and whether or not to include them.
So right now, the town clerk is working water district time
Right.
on
Yeah.
And we're
town budget.
working to fix that.
Yep.
We're working to fix that.
And
Because when we,
I talked to the supervisor about that, and I have suggested that, there be, town clerk labor, and also CEO labor that's afforded by that water district.
and then also distributed to the deputy CEO and
Yes,
deputy clerk as well.
yes.
So when we first, the water district went online in 22, we didn't really know how much time is this gonna be? Oh my gosh, it's a new thing. And
I
it's
was
still,
still curious if we were exceeding our debt. So,
but it's managed pretty tightly, I gotta say. I mean, it's
Yep.
$5,000 is a small delta between expense and revenue.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty,
And like I said,
that's remarkable.
Krista helps me keep a eagle eye on it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Privilege of the floor. Yes,
Have a comment of the Ohio Public Library is proposing to change their structure.
yes, I can speak to that. So early last year in confidence, I went and met with the Board of Trustees and the library director. And when we did our budget, then we had a secondary meeting as well, talking about this new proposal. What they've done in some municipalities is the library is rolled into the school district taxes. It's gotta be put up to vote. If the taxpayers agree to do that, then we won't have to worry about a library budget. And it's actually what the libraries wanna do. It's just it's a process. And it's what's being done throughout the state. So I think it's a good thing. It was presented well. It's a matter of the voters understanding it once it's presented.
And if you're in the Whammy School District, the library.
Correct.
So you're coordinating two tax.
Yeah, Waco district is, so they're having,
The
Wake's
Eagles.
double dipping on the backs of candidates because they have to pay town candidates plus the school. tax.
That's the,
Library.
yeah,
Library tax.
yeah.
This is a 249 reference.
Yeah, so it'll come up. I forget what month that is. I might have been in that letter I sent. So that should be advertised pretty well. So, well, I'm sure it'll come up in the meetings too. I'll try to mention that privilege of the floor. Put it in there
That
some-
gets voted on by residents.
Of a school district.
School district.
Of a school district. That's why Wayland.
Is that something that's done like when they do the school board members, it'll be like a referendum or something like?
Well, if you want, Bridget will, or excuse me, superintendent will be there at the Richmond Town Board meeting presenting their capital improvement plan tomorrow night. I don't know if I'm gonna go, and I could have invited her here tonight, but I think we did. But you can certainly ask her, and you can certainly call the office, 229-5171. 229-5171.
And Wayland is done when they have their budget vote.
Okay.
For the school budget.
Budget, yeah,
And is it presented as a separate budget?
yes.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
For the library.
Yeah, or there's either town of Canada, so that line there, library.
Oh, it'll help out folks like Birch, that live in that Wayland in Germany.
I have no problem paying the library.
I'll tell you no, but yeah, and they're all good libraries, so yeah, it's a good thing, and it's kind of depending on where folks live in Canada. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that.
So one thing I wanted to mention, and it's in the, light audit, if you will.
Yes,
Again, we see that there's a backup and data retention policy.
yes,
That's missing. I am working on that, with everyone here in the town hall, as well as the highway superintendent. I have it in draft. The supervisor has a copy of the draft. Once I make it through again, it will go back out to, each of the departments in the town hall. I'm also going to ask, the different boards if there's anything that they would like, reported in terms of data that they back up. And then it will be produced as a document. It's actually a disaster, recovery plan, as well as a data backup plan. And in addition to that, our emergency operations manual has not been updated since 2009. And so I've offered to, get that updated as well.
Steve, Mr. Engard, is the court backed up sufficiently, like double, triple? How is the court data backed up?
The inherent program that we use for the courtroom program, that one automatically uploads to the court system. And
Daily.
set that data up. At the end of the close of every business day. I've also backed that up to a flash. And I've often kept the flash in the vault here as well. So it's actually stored in like 3 different places. What it doesn't include though is any of the forms that I create, like the ones that we would use in Microsoft Office, things like that aren't up there. I only save those to a flash. And I guess I'd like to keep a copy here in the vault Unless we come up with a better, for me to score all our local ones.
Get them on the Buffalo
That's-
Drive,
That's a,
Get 'em
that's
on-
appropriate,
get them on the Buffalo Drive.
right?
So we have a drive within the vault to go on. There's also a safety deposit box at CMB. You could always, maybe once a year or whatever, that could be put in there in a fireproof safe off-site. That's how we used to speak in the old days with data storage, so.
And that would, anything going to the safety deposit box would just come to me and I would take it down and put it in. Whenever Jeremy gets a new title or anything, I take that down.
We got one coming in soon. Thank you.
We really need, like, what we really need that is in addition to using the vault.
Well, the one time when you go, boy, I wish I had that 4-page document that took me 3 hours to write and you don't have it, that'll be the time you go, boy, I wish I could.
Well,
to the right.
is it stuff in the vault endangered and fire suppressed and?
No,
Does
that's,
it have anything to do with the emergency management plan? Is that why we were doing it?
it's the same thing, and having a copy on flash and in the vault is sufficient.
I was always told that having something off-site isn't a bad idea, which is why we've continued to use the safety deposit for anybody who wants to.
Correct.
I didn't realize we ever did that. It was even a possibility.
That's why we have it. Yep.
So I could-
Yep.
So whatever you're comfortable with.
Cause just the best design systems could never fail. This
Well, they do.
guy Murphy, it can happen, so. Just double, triple, I've had hard drives crash and computers crash more than I'd like to tell you. So,
For the business, make motion, we adjourn.
second. Those in favor?
Aye.
There was a football game on. I don't know what the score is. Thank you.
What is the score?
I don't know.
Come on, Chris.